Hello, and welcome to the 10K subscriber video. I was originally going to do a video when I got over 1K, but that was just over a month ago, and the growth since then has been pretty crazy. I want to say thank you to everyone who has subscribed, left comments, or just lurked. Why is there a fox back there? Why are there so many foxes up here? I jumped a few thousand subs after the last video, and those are just as meaningful as the first few thousand. And I really don't like how quickly the brain normalizes these numbers. So I try and look at this in different ways. And last month, people spent 53,000 hours watching things that I made, which that's 6 years? 6 years of time in the last month. That's, I'm having a hard time, processing that. As I'm recording this channel has 13,637 subs. And I want to commemorate that in my survival world. YouTube doesn't give out play buttons until you reach 100K. But I'm thrilled to get 10. So I figured I would just make my own play button. My daughter is going to hop on and help with that. Future Nice here. This episode ended up being way too long, so I am splitting it into 2 episodes. The rest of this episode will contain the play button, my thoughts on the future of the channel, and then some of my plans for upcoming videos. There was a Q&A section in the middle that I'm going to be making its own video. I'll reference the Q&A twice at the end of this video. It'll all make sense when that comes out. And that video will be out in a day or 2 max after this one. Thanks. And so I have all the materials gathered, and now I just need to go out and find a spot to build the play button. And so, I present to you the Dirt Tier play button. And I'll probably do this several more times in the video, but thank you. So I also want to say thank you to my daughter, my oldest daughter here, that helped me build it and everything. You can say hi.
Hello. Oh, sorry.
That's the relationship we have. Yeah, so I got to put this behind me, right? I'm a real streamer. Or a real
tuber.
There. I'm a real tuber. There.
Potatoes, carrots.
Mm-hmm. A real root vegetable I am. So now I thought I would just talk a little bit about the channel and let you know a few things that I'm working on for the future. My goal here isn't really to get the most views or anything. I just like to share the things I'm interested in or builds that I'm proud of. In Minecraft and in real life, I struggle with completing projects before I jump to something else. Usually it'll get most of the way done, and then I just think that's good enough, and then I stop. Making these videos gives me a little extra push that I need to complete these projects and maybe put a little bit of polish on them. And so I'm not really interested in chasing the algorithm. I don't want to have clickbaity thumbnails or titles. I don't want to have my dumb face on thumbnails. Cut to like a year from now and I'm just like some shill for like Raid Shadow Legends or something. But that's really not my intent. I'm usually recording these episodes late at night after everybody is asleep or early in the morning before everybody gets up. I am time limited and I have so many things I would like to do. Usually after each video, I come away with 2 or more ideas for another video, and then your comments bring up other ideas, and my list just keeps growing. I almost didn't do the minecart video. I was just frustrated and made the video to kind of work out my thoughts and I didn't want to just be down on minecarts and say they suck. I was trying to think of some ways to actually, improve them into the vanilla game. I was just pointing out issues that everyone probably already knew, and I didn't think the video would be that popular. Thought maybe it would get me the 200 subs I needed to get over 10K. And then I could focus on making like the next color video or a survival build or a geology video. But it took off and the comments in that video were great. Ideas for how to implement my ideas or pointing out other issues that I overlooked. And now I have a real solid idea for how I would change minecarts, at least for how I would want them to be changed in the game. Which one of the comments that a lot of people had was linking minecarts is actually possible in the game. You place 4 down, you push the furnace into the other carts like this, and then you give it some coal. Works great. Okay, everybody's pushed together. Give it some coal. Yes, so I guess I stand by the fact that we need some ability to link carts up. This only works in a straight line. You can't have turns. You can't go up hills or do anything like that. So really, it's a really bizarre mechanic that's still in the game and obviously needs to be fixed. All right, so now I want to talk about some things I would like to improve on the channel. I already talked a bit about my Lisp in the Q&A, so that's something that I can work on. Some people it doesn't bother, some people it does, so I'll try to figure out what I'm doing with that. And the other thing that most people comment about is my pauses, my ums, and my long, slow method of talking, and I should write a script for other things. And believe it or not, some of these videos do have scripts. I've always been a slow talker. I have an issue like grasping for words sometimes. Like I want to use a word and that word is just not in my brain. And my brain is just kind of floundering for what I want to say next. Sometimes it grabs the wrong word and that word comes out. But this is something that I can work on, something that, is just takes practice. I'm usually pretty confident when I'm speaking. So it's not a confidence issue or something I'm embarrassed with. It's just my brain taking a while to figure out what it wants to say and how it wants to say it. I'm self-taught for all of the editing and recording. So that has been quite a learning curve, and I still have a lot to learn with that. I think I would like to do maybe an outro or intro and outro for videos, but I'm not exactly sure what that would be. If somebody has an idea, that would be great. I thought maybe I should do a channel intro video, just something that kind of showcases the things that I do here. And so far I've only used Minecraft music in my time lapses or backgrounds, but I might subscribe to something like Epidemic Sound to get a little bit more variety. Some of the improvements that I can make are hardware limited. My recording computer is quite old. My mic is an old USB mic. If I do anything in real life videos or photography, I don't have anything for that besides my phone. Someone commented on the Caves video that my temporary setup looked like a full-blown studio, and that made me chuckle because that was literally a mat from my garage on top of a box of old comics. I borrowed my daughter's ring light stand and had my phone clamped to that, and that was all angled over the rocks and kept from falling over all the way with a beanbag. Which I guess I can kind of segue into the next topic of monetization. I hadn't monetized my channel, but YouTube was rolling ads on it anyway, so I went ahead and flipped that switch. I don't expect to get very much, but maybe that can provide some money to buy things like a camera and other equipment and upgrades and things like that. And maybe sometime in the future when I'm comfortable with the quality of what I'm doing, I would consider doing a Patreon or something. I don't know what I would necessarily provide for that. Maybe patrons would have their own Discord. Maybe I could do a patron survival server or some sort of collab creative server. So, when snapshots come out, we can try things together or work out, just some build ideas over there. All right, so next I wanted to talk about some things that I have in plan for videos that I'm going to be working on. I'll just start with the survival world since I'm here already. The Nitwits gave me my proclamation to make a dripstone farm. I had a couple setbacks with that, and I'm still working on the design. I'm actually been inspired to make a different build that I'm not going to talk about right now yet, but I do have a ton of other things to do on the survival world, and this is kind of, I wouldn't say back burner stuff, but it's things that I'm not necessarily trying to get rushed to get done. It would be really nice to get caught up. I have a lot of old things that are from older versions. I would like to be caught up so that when a new version comes out, so when 1.20 comes out, then I can kind of just focus on those new things that were added, but I don't know if I'm ever going to get there with that. The next video that I have planned to do is a color theory video. I have all the code figured out to do HSL and HSV color spaces, and I think that'll be pretty interesting. It'll be fun to look at these blocks in a couple different ways. I also have plans in the future to be able to add non-block items or adding actual like text display entities with different colors. That was suggested by another commenter. And then there are a couple things. There was a question about adding lichen to blocks and how that changes everything, and I think that's definitely worth a separate video for that. And then eventually, I want to also convert everything into something like sRGB, which is more accurate to how the human eye sees color, instead of RGB, which is how computers deal with color. But there's lots of other ideas that I'm not mentioning right now. And I hope to have the next video out before 1.20 at least. So, but it'll probably be, next week or something like that, if something else doesn't come up in my real life. For the geologic time world, I just have a lot of general improvements and things to do. But besides that, probably the next video I'm going to be doing in this is actually looking at what is stone. Like I mentioned this in one of the Q&As, but looking at stone from like a geologic perspective in the game, like what can we actually figure out? Can I determine what is its closest real life rock with how it behaves in the game? And then I also want to do a what is geology video. I mentioned this also in the Q&A, but after that I want to get back to focusing on talking about the individual blocks and the mechanics in Minecraft and how they relate to the real world. So I have a kind of like a little mini series based around looking at ores of different types. I think I can do a video that's kind of a general overlook of the Minecraft ores, and then each ore deserves its own separate video basically in this series. And then I'm sure everybody's excited and waiting for me to talk about volcanoes. I think that'll be pretty cool. I have some ideas to how to make it look interesting. And there's discussion on metamorphic rocks. And there's me continuing work on the timeline and doing some improvements on that. I know that the video, one block equals 1 million years, where I walk this whole thing continuously and talk about time as it's going forward. I have made a lot of improvements to my recording setup and just my ability to speak and record things. And I could redo that video, but I don't think I'm at a place where I could do it the justice that I want to do it. And I do have a plan for at some point to talk about each one of these large sections of time independently in their own video and discuss things that are going on. I know that people have asked me to do like let me just walk over here, the Holocene, or doing the Quaternary period. So talking about just major advancements in human history. So like covering, like known human history and like large events like the building of the pyramids and, migrating out of Africa, and things like that. More of like a anthropology history timeline, which would be, I don't know how I'd do that. Maybe I'd do another offshoot or do a whole nother world or something like that. But, there's lots of ideas that can be done and refinement and things that I want to keep working on. And of course, Minecraft's going to keep adding new materials and new blocks in here. And so I'm sure they'll keep me busy with adding things that I can talk about here. Like they added mud since I did the dirt episode, which I re-listened to that the other day. Man, I was tired when I recorded that. I could definitely I still really like that episode, but I could do a much better job if I re-recorded that now and everything. But anyway, I also want to do an episode on like ice and glaciers and all that stuff. But I have a whole document with notes for ideas and things for all of these kind of little weird series that I have going on. But I am really interested in using display entities, text entities and things like that to make some things for the dioramas. I think I can do some really interesting things. So I'm sure I have more ideas that I forgot, and I'm sure doing any of those videos are going to spiral out into other ideas. And I'll mention it first here that I will be working in the Australian outback for all of July and part of August. I won't have power at all for most of the trip. I might have some internet on a couple days, but I'm going to try to finish a few videos that can be scheduled for release at that time, but I'll see if I can figure out and make the time for it. Maybe I can at least make a couple smaller videos or something like that. And I think with that will be the end of this video. Once again, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And I'll see you next time. Bye.